Okay, just to kind of help me visualize which part of the photo I'm doing, I'm just gonna get a piece of this painter's tape, which is actually only sticky on one side. Looks like it's halfway through the stem. Yeah, just something like this, just so I know I'm only gonna paint this part of the photograph with the hard edge style. So remember, each change of value, or every time the color changes, that is gonna be its own shape. So within the stem, it gets darker. So that dark part is gonna be a shape, and then the lighter brown is gonna be a shape. So I'm gonna draw that on here. So the lighter part of the stem is this shape. The darker part of the stem is this shape. There's kind of a change in the green here. Same over here. And I probably want this to be kind of light. Let's see if I can erase that to be a little lighter. I don't want my pencil to really show up through my paint. Okay, so there we go. So now I need to mix my colors. So this is gonna be a yellow-green. This is gonna have more green, less yellow, more green, less yellow, a darker brown, and then a lighter brown. So now I'm gonna go ahead and paint. Also, for mixing your colors, I know a lot of people are frustrated with acrylic painting because the paint dries really fast, and it does, and that is a problem. So the thicker you have your paint, if you have your paint spread out really thin like this, this is gonna dry really fast. If you have it, what am I trying to say? Really thick, like a lot of it, kind of like a glob, then that will stay wet longer. It does use more paint though, that's the problem. So I'm trying to get a yellow-green. And I wanna get enough to paint that whole surface. All right, so in my painting right now, you can see brush strokes and you can see kind of the colors mixing. So in a true hard edge painting, this should be flat colors, just like pop art artwork. So also the green is too green for me. I still need it to be more yellow green. So I'm gonna do a second coat of paint now that's gonna have more yellow than green, and then it should help cover up all the brush strokes. Also, I'm using one of the flat brushes that's kind of like a square, basically. And what I wanna do when I load it up with paint is I want to use the edge of the brush to kind of get a nice, hard, straight line. It's a lot easier than using the front of the brush. So, well, there's some blue there. I don't want blue. So again, use the side of the brush to go along your edge. Okay, I'm gonna speed it up. Okay, next I'm gonna work on the stem, which is a brown. So to get a brown, remember you always mix complementary colors together. So I'm trying to mix my red into my green. Let's try to get some dark blue. It's looking kind of purple right now. So the more yellow I get into purple, the more brown or neutral it will go. But right now this is pretty light, right? I want this to be darker. So I'm gonna keep mixing now in some dark brown, or dark blue, sorry. That phthalo blue. Let's try some of that alizarin crimson red. I'm adding dark colors. Okay, so if I still want this to get darker, I would continue to add, and I'm moving my brush around. Get some of that dark phthalo blue, that alizarin crimson red. It's looking kind of purple. Add some yellow. And that's how we go towards brown. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get all the paint off of this brush that I can. And then I'm gonna use a skinnier brush. So I now have this skinnier brush to kind of get into those smaller areas. This is a pretty nice light brown. So I'm actually going to paint the whole thing light brown. Ah! Wipe that away. And I'm waiting for my green to dry, by the way. I'm going to do another coat. Okay, so I painted the whole thing brown. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add dark on top, and I'm probably just going to add, I'm going to mix dark blue, that phthalo blue and that alizarin crimson to get a dark purple. I'm just going to add that on top to be that darker color. Okay, so I'm going to wash my brush. All right, so that's it. So I've got hard, defined edges where colors change and where values change. Now I'm gonna move on to the next, which is going to be very different. Never mind, sorry, I just added that little clip of the pink apple that's showing right there. Also, these are all warm colors, so I did stick with my color scheme. Next.